Plenty lined up in this hour as we take you to the street of Johannesburg, which says it will be relocating residents of Mai Mai after a fire ravaged through the informal settlement overnight. One person was killed in the blaze and another injured, with residents trying to salvage as much as they can from the debris. Ahmed Kajee joins us now. Ahmed, a very good afternoon to you. Devastation out there. Talk to us about what's happening at the moment.
Yes, for residents are still trying to recover from the devastating fire which occurred overnight here at the Mai Mai in formal settlement in the inner city of Johannesburg and near Chepistan and the Maboneng precinct. At the moment, you will see residents still trying to get the corrugated iron which would have been used for their shacks in recent months and in recent years. And continuing that, we still are expecting a lot more of that action going forward as well. But in terms of what we are going to be expecting within the next few days and the next week or so is the site across this particular area where the residents here of Mai Mai will be relocated. But as for today, as for this evening, no residents have been moved as yet from this particular location to another place where they will be staying before this particular area gets demolished. And I think speaking about the particular issues and incidents that the residents will be facing, I'm just going to bring into the conversation the MMC for Housing, MMC Mlungisi Mabaso. MMC, thanks for your time today. When can we expect the residents of the Mai Mai informal settlement to get to their temporary residence?
Well, thank you very much. What we are waiting for right now is to transport them to a holding facility where we are going to place them for 7 days while we are clearing site, erecting new shacks. So that's the process we have given it a period of 7 days because the facility that we are going to use, it has been made available by a Department of Sport and Rec, and it's being used for other activities. But we have engaged with them, and they have agreed now to give us that facility. So we have to then expedite all the processes from our side, so that we allow also those activities that happens on daily basis in that facility. So I went there with the team to check on the site, and I think we have sufficient space to house all the affected individuals from this informal settlement. So as of tomorrow, the team will be on site with consultants, and we will start clearing the site, and we will start erecting in new shacks, and then we'll do allocation after that.
How far is the facility from here? Are you at liberty to give us more details about it?
Well, it's not far. It's just on the other side. It's a walking distance. Maybe it's less than a kilometer. It's just that I'm not good with that. But I went there and I walked to that side. So it's on the other side. So it's still within the same precinct. Because this area, in fact, that caught fire now, it's one of the areas, in fact, that we've included in our planning processes for the new development of this precinct. So it's within the same boundary, if I may put it in that way.
MMC, just finally, when can we expect time-wise for this evening for these residents to be taken to the new temporary residence?
Well, community development ED, I was in a conversation with him not so long ago, so he has confirmed that the facility is ready. So we are just waiting for trucks from JMPD to assist us with the transportation, because there are other items here that we also need to move. It's not only people here, so we are waiting for trucks. So as soon as they get here, so I'm waiting for them as I'm here, because I said I'm not going to leave until those trucks arrive, and then they will start transporting people, then we will all disperse.
MMC, thanks for your time today. I'm sure we'll be in touch with you throughout the rest of the afternoon. That's MMC Mlungisi Mabaso joining us here, just giving us an update as to when these residents from the Mai Mai informal settlement will be moved to their temporary residence. And as he also said, for that, the systematic relocation of these residents will take between 3 days and 1 week to get concrete solutions in place heading into the short, medium and long-term relocation as well. In terms of relief aid which will be coming through for the residents, many of them have more or less lost everything and only have the clothes on their back as well. They have called on government and NGOs to provide them with food and other essential items which will help them survive the next few weeks and the next few months as well. Earlier on today, the Gift of the Givers inspection teams were here as well, They carried out their inspections to find out exactly what they can provide and to plan their logistics accordingly as well. So on that front, in terms of what we are expecting over here, hopefully, and I'm assuming for the residents' sake as well, before sunset at 5:30 this evening, residents will be having some direction as to moving to their temporary residence to at least have a roof over their head, at least for this evening.
Perhaps let's go back a little bit and just try and establish what exactly happened at that informal settlement.
So from the briefing that the mayor has had from the Johannesburg Emergency Services, we understand the fire broke out at 1 o'clock this morning, or at least between midnight and 2 a.m. And it more or less has ravaged the entire informal settlement. There's estimations that around 350 shacks being destroyed, razed to the ground. One person has died, another injured, and a few emergency services officials also injured and taken through to hospital within that time as well. Initial reports also indicate that about 350 shacks were completely destroyed during this particular fire as well. So if one was to perhaps average four people to one specific shack, you'd think that the numbers of people who are displaced in excess of 1,000 people. So far they have confirmed about 500 to 600, but obviously judging from what we have seen since this morning, it seems to be exceeding those numbers as well. It's a very difficult situation for those who are on the ground over here, and it's dreadful to think that they may not have a roof over their head if there are further delays as well. In terms of what we also have seen from the mayor of Johannesburg, she says information from her side that the main cause of the fire, or the potential cause of this fire, is illegal electricity connections. I'm just going to ask my colleague Kate to quickly just give you a quick pan over to the right-hand side of your screen. You will see an informal settlement, and back over there where the concrete pillar would be in your shot, that's where the Kazerni building was demolished just about 3 weeks ago. And from this particular informal settlement, you'll normally have electricity cables running all across this particular ridge, and then over onto the highway behind us, across the bridge over there, and that merges back onto the M2 westbound as well. You will see those cables coming all the way across, and they more or less run through the bridge and then down into the Mai Mai informal settlement, which would then be on the bottom right of your screen as well. And these are the at least the ideas that the Johannesburg Emergency Services are saying is what could have caused this particular fire as well. And these are just some of the information, or pieces of information, that are coming out of the city of Johannesburg with regards to the cause of this fire. But these are instances, and these are, this incident is one of many that has taken place in the city of Johannesburg, in the Gauteng province, and the rest of the country. We've seen these instances in Alexandra Township, in Khayelitsha, and in over here in the Mai Mai informal settlement. Just last year, 9 people were killed at the Kazerni informal settlement, where the building was, where a fire had broken out in that informal settlement as well. So this kind of challenge and these situations aren't new to the city of Johannesburg or to the Gauteng province. But in terms of providing adequate housing, that is yet to be provided to the residents of Johannesburg. And unfortunately, in instances where a shack happens to catch on fire, it spreads quite fast through the rest of the informal settlements. And that's when we have loss of life and the destruction of property like we are seeing, and people subsequently have no place to stay come the evening.
Absolutely. A very sad incident there. Of course, leaving it there with you, Ahmed Kajee, as we will continue to perhaps pose a few questions to the city of Johannesburg.